Okay. We are live and rolling. So, we will start off with fun facts. You guys' question for tonight is, what is the best festival costume any of you or your characters have ever had? So, like, it doesn't have to be the Epoch of Eventide. It could be your own, like, home tradition. Maybe just there's usually one holiday in each culture across all of Morningstar that you dress up for. So in your lifespan, your character's lifespan, what is the best costume they've ever had? And we will start right off the top with Tug. How about Tug, Josh? What is Tug's best?
Is anybody else getting feedback or breaking up?
From me? Feedback?
It's just on my end.
Feedback from me? Can anyone else hear the feedback?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Did you hear Kobe ask that question?
Can anybody hear me?
Can you guys hear Kobe? I can hear Kobe.
I can hear Kobe.
Can anybody besides Christian hear me?
I can hear Kobe.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can't hear Christian very well.
You sound so lost.
You can't.
Ian, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And you can't hear me
Okay.
very well.
Can you hear Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. Was everyone else?
I'm getting.
Christian, was it just me?
I-
That's having a bad time.
Oh, now you're kind of fading out, Kobe.
Let me try it off of here. Let me get off and get back on.
You sound fine to me.
I was gonna say, you sound good on our end.
Yeah, I don't know.
He sounded like a robot to me.
I think he
For
was
like-
just fading out every time he started to talk, and then someone else was trying to talk at the same time.
Hey Christian,
What's up?
is there a way for me to turn the music down on my side? It's really loud again on the live stream.
Is that better?
Yes. Was it not loud for anybody else?
Nope.
It was
I
very
didn't even
faint.
know we had
Your
music
voice was
going.
on.
Nope, I can hear. Sounds like everybody now.
Okay.
I never
Sorry.
hear the music.
Yeah, it's
It
because
would just sound like everything was robotic for a little bit.
it's because we can't have nice things.
Kobe, is that you? You sound so rugged.
But yes, question
What's up, filter
first
music?
question tonight is you, Josh. Tell us what Tug's best festival costume has been, is going to be. Maybe not
So-
that one.
So I have to say the best costume that I can remember was when I was a little kid. I had this like 2-part costume of a horse where one was the back and one was the front, and me and my dad were gonna like double up, and we were gonna get to spend all this time together and dress up in costumes, and he left shortly before that, and I don't ever really got to wear that costume, but man, it would have been awesome just to think about the doubling up and being this cool horse
Oh,
and spending time with my dad, and he didn't show up.
were you gonna be the back half of the horse, or were you gonna be the front half?
I don't, I was just really like, I went out and bought it and like kind of like sent a note.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I would have been whatever he would have shown up for. So, I mean,
In a world of magic, I appreciate you guys' effort to make a genuine, like, physical costume that two Genasi were going to try and fit inside of. That's really magical. I could see why that's I could see why that's Tug's favorite costume. Whether it was fulfilling to wear it or not. That's a good one. That's a good one. Ian, how about Sailor Sun or Soul? I imagine there's lots of great theatrical costumes on. You're from the left moon, right?
Of course. Glad that you remembered.
Yeah. You remember which moon is the left moon?
Yes, it's yeah.
You
Um,
got something caught in your throat there?
I must have the same feed that Kobe has. Well, of course, the best one I ever went as was the Queen's beloved husband, Tuxedo Mask. It was perfect because we don't do many gender swaps. So to get to wear a tuxedo and a white mask and a top hat, have my queen stare at me for the night, that was rewarding.
Wow, yeah.
And also, I love Tuxedo Mask.
Have you ever thought about dressing up as Tuxedo Mask again, or it wouldn't compare because you weren't in the eyes of your queen?
Oh no, Tuxedo Mask was the champion of Earth,
Mm.
so of course I would go as it. But I would fear that the Earth would get too excited to see their champion back.
You tell these tales of these far off wonderful places on moons we've never heard of and planets called Earth. It's amazing. You really are from a unique place. Traveling all the way across the phlogiston. It's to this crystal sphere of Polydaria. It's amazing that there are not more questions about where you come from and who you are. Like,
It
it's
really is exciting. Truly is exciting stuff. I'm glad I don't have to go into detail about it because I just might forget and change into, I don't know, a different personality.
Curveball.
Curveball. All right,
Oh, look at the time.
yeah. Speaking of Cameron, how about Ranger Steve? You ever dress up as anything?
Every year during the, I guess you could call it like a summer solstice,
Mm-hmm.
change of the season, my community, usually it was based on kind of where you lived in the city. Usually they would kind of get together in one street, one row of houses, and we'd build these giant, like piers, like fire piers.
Sure.
And, basically we made them look like things we saw around the forest, different animals, different structures, some of our gods, and some of the histories.
You're talking about like pyres? Sorry.
Pyres. Yeah,
Okay.
not piers, pyres.
I just wanted to make sure I was thinking the same thing.
Right. And so, we a couple different exotic birds throughout, around the mountainside. We could build a giant one that we were gonna set on fire, and then everyone involved, in a couple houses that got together down the street. We did it as age groups sometimes or friends, and we'd all dress up to look like that particular pyre. And then at the end of the night, everybody would set their pyres on fire, and sometimes people could get pretty creative with it and kind of influence with some of the native plants and stuff in the area that could really make some cool smoke and some cool fire and stuff. But it was just a lot of fun because everyone dressed up to make it look like, you were also the thing that you were about to set on fire. So,
was there ever
always
any accidental crossover where somebody set a child on fire because they were dressed the same as the pyre?
No, like usually the pyres were, like 15 feet
Way
tall.
bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There's lots of safety protocols involved. Usually, the moms involved, they were the ones, have some jugs of water on standby. And,
Oh, so there were haphazard fires that would get started then.
we got thatched roofs and stuff. Some people can't afford to, build a nice stone structure, so there's always the potential.
Okay.
Maybe a windy evening,
Was
that sort of thing.
Were any of your relatives on the safety council?
Yeah, my mom. She was right up there. She was always pretty worried about me and my shenanigans growing up. So.
Well, talking about parents, I know a guy who has two dead ones. Tyrell, Jared, you want to tell us about your favorite costume if you've ever worn one? Was that a bad transition? I'm sorry to bring up those memories.
Yeah. there was a tradition in towns, in town near me, towns. There was lots of partaking of the fun juice.
Fun juice.
Yeah, make you silly. And well, they wouldn't let you in unless you wore some lederhosen.
Oh.
So grew to really like that costume. So it was kind of just a traditional
Sorry, who really liked the costume?
myself.
Oh. I thought you said someone's name.
Tyrell.
Oh.
I definitely heard a name.
Yeah.
Definitely say a name.
Girder is what I heard.
Grudeheisen?
Lederhosen?
Yeah, but after Lederhosen, you said so and so liked the costume.
Sounds like a bitch you can't trust.
Breaking the fourth wall. Let's rewind that.
Did you
definitely did. I
say
think
sorry? Did you forget your own character's name or?
I don't know what is going on. All right. Sheila.
He's in a different
Sheila
D&D
really
group.
likes.
Mixed up.
I'm not crazy though. Am I the only one that heard
You
that?
said Grudeheisen.
Were you just saying another German word I don't know, and I just mistook it for someone's name?
Freaking.
I heard something.
No, you
Yeah,
guys.
we
are
all
both-
heard a
How
name.
high
He
are
doesn't
both
wanna
of you?
say.
I just can't tell if you're trying to like secretly drop lore for your character, like,
No.
like
I think you're trying to make me insert lore.
maybe I am.
No, absolutely. I heard it. I heard it also.
Grudeheisen.
We'll look back at it.
I was gonna say it's on the stream, so we're gonna find you out. We're gonna start. Detective Easter's gonna start
so
taking some
excited.
notes on your background facts.
Okay.
We're gonna cross-examine you later on. But okay, all right.
You get the
Lederhosen.
textual version and everything.
Lederhosen that was your favorite costume. Okay. Did you ever have any accompanying things with your Lederhosen, like Steins or fancy little hat or something?
Yeah, definitely. Always had my Stein that I got. You know, carve in another year of the festival.
Oh,
You
that's
get
cool.
a carving in your Stein for each year. And I had a nice green hat.
I just really love the idea of a drow being all moody and emotional in these like happy festival clothes. Just, I don't know, the dichotomy of those two things. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Kobe, how about Detective Easter? I don't know if he's been around for some epoch of Eventines. I don't know if he's dressed up as anything in the past though.
Yeah, one year he dressed up as a character from one of the local plays, and the play was called Fred, and Freddy. And there's this little character in there. His name's Johnny 2x6, and he has a sidekick called Wood. And so Easter dressed up as Johnny 2x6 with Wood. So.
Was there also Birdman and Jack Samurai accompanying you that year?
Yes.
I'm getting flashbacks and I don't even know Johnny 2x6, so that's pretty good. Did the other Dragonborn dress as other characters from this Fred and Freddy show?
No, you know, everyone dresses up different things. You get, Captain Shorts. He's there all the time. He's a common one. There's people dressed up as, other characters of, children's things, such as, Super Guy and Wonder Gal.
Super Guy, that's a big one. Yeah,
he's what they call the White Toast. So
Were the Gallup brothers from the trailer park there too?
yes.
They're so fucking rich and awesome.
There's just this is the like anti-world of Ed, Ed, and Eddie is just there.
Well, you'd also see occasionally some couples or some really good friends go as the two main characters of Blaine's World. So
Man, yeah, there's just a whole world of media plays out there. It's amazing we can keep track of all of them. But okay, well that concludes the fun facts. It means we can pick up where we left off last time. Last time you guys found a keeper of justice who had been murdered in a alleyway. Sort of did a little bit of detective work before the entire stream crashed, but you got the information you needed from the body, filled out a little detective autopsy report, and you have filed that away in your bag, Detective Easter. The rest of you, while Detective Easter was doing this autopsy, your two new companions, Pip and Lil, spotted what they called the Night Terror. And that is where we left off last time. Detective Easter tried to catch up to this Night Terror who had was on top of one of the buildings here, but by the time he got to the top of the building, the Night Terror had vanished.
And I had jumped back down to
Yes.
Ranger's Jeep.
To try and impress him with your gainer off, but instead of the 3-point pose, you landed a solid 4.1.
Yep.
But yes, we'll pick up right there. Take it away.
I'm gonna walk back. Ranger Steve, did you see where that creature went?
Well, it looked like it went up on the roof, and then you jumped up there, so I think you probably have a better idea than me.
By the time I made it up there, he was already gone. I was hoping that maybe you got a glimpse of them going past different buildings.
Nope, I didn't see anything. All I saw was you jump down and land really awkwardly.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go back to the crime scene.
All right.
And so I'll walk back over there.
Sure. Is there anything you're looking for over there?
Yeah, are there any who are the guards that are nearby?
There's one from Sir Barriston's with the white ascot, and the other one is from Dolores's with the black undergarments.
I'll beckon the one from Sir Barriston.
All right. Let's see here. Get the little guard. Human. Guard. Boom. All right. What can I do for you, Detective Easter?
Do you know the name of this man?
I can't say that I do. Appears as if he's one of Dread's.
Do you work the nearby patrol here?
I'm actually covering for a friend. I don't typically walk these streets, but you telling me you ain't ever heard of the Night Terror?
Who is the Night Terror?
You must have a squeaky clean record then, Detective. Night Terror, he's vigilante. Takes justice into his own hands. Sees us keepers as justice as a bit excessive and unfair. Granted, there's 3 sects of us, and I understand some of the other keepers of justice maybe turn a blind eye or take a bribe, but working for Sir Barriston, we're not so much on the bad side of the Night Terror. But I've heard he beat up quite a few keepers of justice, as well as doled out his own justice, where maybe the keepers of justice fell short.
And has this vigilante ever murdered somebody before?
Nobody's ever caught him doing it. Definitely not murder. But he's gotten a couple of our guys in the infirmary before. Smashed up real bad.
Hmm.
Can't say,
And
I blame
can I
them.
speak to
They
any of
changed their
them?
ways. Speak to any of the
Which guys?
gods that got beat up?
Yes.
I don't know any of them personally, but I'm sure if you go back to the Hall of Justice, you could find some. You ask anybody on the street, though. They'll tell you everything they know about the Night Terror.
And what will you tell me more about the Night Terror?
This is about the extent of my knowledge of the Night Terror. I can tell you I'm trying to stay on the good side of justice. That's why I sided with Sebastian.
And who do you or people you know believe the Night Terror is?
It's hard to say. He's never been caught or seen in broad daylight before.
Yes, but if you had to take a wild guess, would you say it was a certain person, maybe a keeper of justice, or
Cantes is a
perhaps-
big city. Can't rightfully give a good guess. It could be you, for all I know, Detective.
how could I be in two places at once?
I didn't see you or the Night Terror in the same place at the same time. I just came after you beckoned.
Christian, is this the guard that I had set up here while I was doing the autopsy?
So this guard was over to the right down this alleyway.
Yeah.
The Dolores one was the one out towards the front.
Okay. Thank you, guard. And I'm gonna walk towards the
Sure
the
thing.
Dolores one.
All right. We'll open up another guard. Burr, burr, burr. All right. No, I don't want the die. Thank you. I don't want it. I don't want it. Fine. There. Woo! 8. All right. So you walk up to the Dolores guard with the oily black undergarments. He's kind of scruffier looking, a little bit rougher around the edges. He sees you on his left shoulder, but he doesn't really acknowledge you.
God,
Meh.
did you see anything that occurred here?
I didn't see the murder, if that's what you're asking.
That is what I was asking. Did you see anybody walk down this alleyway before a murder occurred?
I was in charge of making sure the street's clear. That's what I'm doing. That's what I was doing. You're the one that found the body.
Do you know who the god that was killed was?
No idea.
Do you know about the Night Terror?
Yeah, who doesn't know about the Night Terror?
What can you tell me about the Night Terror?
It's a wacko nut job jumping around the city, fighting crime or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Have you, any other gods that you know had a run-in with the Night Terror?
Nah, 'cause if I had run into the Night Terror, he'd be dead. See this crossbow
Is that,
baby here?
You would shoot him with the crossbow?
Wouldn't bat an eye. Shoot him right between the eyes. That's where I get him.
I see. Well, you've been very helpful, thank you.
Aw, my pleasure.
Alright, I'm gonna go rejoin the group.
So Pip kind of steps up and says, "So what now, detective?"
Well, we need to get some evidence back to the Hall of Justice. I need to open up a case.
Well, Lil
For
or
the
I
start,
are
we need to-
happy to run anything you need to the Hall of Justice for you.
Well, as much I'd like to give you the evidence for the lead detective on the case in your hands, considering that we just met. I don't think that I will.
All right, can't blame you.
But yes, need to figure out who this guard is, and if anybody had a motive to kill him, and if this night terror is involved, or what the story is there. What can you tell me of the night terror, Pip?
Well, he's not such a bad guy. I mean, yeah, he definitely is a vigilante and technically sought by the Keepers of Justice because he doles out his own brand of justice. But ultimately, I think he does a good thing. He protects people like me and Lil.
Protects you how?
Well, where the Keepers of Justice maybe fall short, or some of the other, no disrespect, Detective Easter, but there's corruption everywhere. Some of the Keepers of Justice they turn a blind eye to things, or take bribes, or some of them are even worse than that. They actively commit crimes. But I don't know who those people are specifically, but that's who the Night Terror watches out for. And he doesn't just watch out for that. He takes care of any of the crimes that the Keepers of Justice can't get to.
Does he choose which crimes that he decides to punish?
I don't know his method of madness, but
Do you think he would punish anybody for drinking alcohol within the city limit?
I've never seen him punish someone for that before.
Okay.
Like I said, his rules don't so much line up with the Keepers of Justice. I'd say they more align with the citizens of Nicantes.
And who do you think that this night terror is?
How am I supposed to know who it is?
Aren't there rumors around the streets that it may be a certain person?
Nobody's ever really gotten a great look. I mean, it seems humanoid enough, but the way he moves, it's impressive. That's why they call him the Night Terror. Anybody with enough sense, they run.
I see. Well, thank you for this information, Pip Boy.
Anytime.
Zoo Warriors, did anybody see anything or discover any evidence?
Who are the Zoo Warriors?
I believe that is your group name before the trial. Are you abandoning your clan so easily?
Most people around here call them the Heroes of Nicantes now.
Ah, and what a fitting name.
Yeah, no, that sounds much better.
Zoo
do
Warriors,
prefer the
Heroes
my
of
panties.
Nicantes. I like it already.
What'd you say, Soul?
I do prefer being called the heroes of my panties.
That's a good one. My panties? I never heard that before. Soul, are you a
you're
comedian?
here.
Have you ever considered doing stand-up?
I'm standing right now.
Ranger Steve, you do comedy too? There is a nice comedy club I know if you ever want to go. Open mic nights.
Tell us what you know.
About open mic nights?
Everything.
Well, it's one of the stops on the Chumbawamba Challenge across the city. Nobody's ever been able to complete it except Threebeard the dwarf.
Why?
Is that the one you attacked, Tug?
Metagaming. No, different dwarf. That's Baldbeard the Broken now.
I know. I was just trying to get him involved.
You have heard of Threebeard before, though. Ranger Steve, go ahead and give me a insight check to see if you remember where you've heard of Threebeard before.
Seven.
You don't remember. You
Yeah,
had
guys, I don't remember.
you had
Sounds
like
like
a scratch on your head that you thought was a thought, but it was just a scratch instead. But Pip goes on and says, yeah, so the challenge is that you go to a number of speakeasies on this certain list all across Nycanthes. You do a whiskey drink, a lager drink, and a vodka drink.
So funny.
Are any of you guys, not to put you on the spot or anything, but, outside of Nycanthes, you ever partake?
Well, actually-
Outside of the city limits, when alcohol is legal, I will have some.
Unfortunately, I get knocked down too much. I do try to get up again.
Let's see. I got a little bit more.
So familiar.
I got a little bit more information on that. No. Yes. Yeah, so Three-Beard the Dwarf is only one to ever overcome all the challenges. Drank the Chumbawamba at each speakeasy across Nycanthes. Many have tried, failed, and even died in the attempts to run the gauntlet. The saying goes, if the keepers don't kill you, the coin doesn't run dry, and your luck is high, the alcohol will be the reason you die.
Wow, that sounds pretty incriminating. What do you think?
I mean, that's why only
Yeah.
the most notorious people have ever even attempted it. The Nycanthes families supposedly has a skeleton key to all of the different speakeasies. Most of the time, to get into speakeasies, you kind of have to do some trickery or know the right people or the password or solve a riddle or puzzle. But with that skeleton key, that grants you access to any speakeasy in the city. Reservation or no. But the list goes on. The Displacer Beast is one of the locations. The Distant Plain is another. The Sending Stones, William's Broadsword, the Rat's Nest, and then the Impersonator's Pasquinade. That's a new one on the list. But if you can make it through all those speakeasies, find the locations, get inside, drink a Chumbawamba, and make it out, I mean, Three-Beard the Dwarf is very well known around these parts. I don't think he'll ever have to buy a drink the rest of his natural-born life. And what a prize for a dwarf.
It would certainly be interesting if any of them were to make it with a Keeper of Justice in their midst.
I would say that would only enhance the legend, Detective.
Seems like a fool's run to me.
Well, we all know that the Keepers of Justice, I mean, I'm not speaking any truths you don't already know. Just use alcohol as an excuse to arrest people.
Well, while I don't agree with the laws, I certainly abide by them.
You are a noble dragonborn. No one would fault you that. But yes,
I haven't had dinner with his parents yet.
But yes, think of this city of Nycanthes as what weed is in the Midwest. Like if alcohol and marijuana's roles were kind of reversed here, right? Like people openly smoke here in Nycanthes. Their past history of all their floral sort of concoctions and things. They're no stranger to that sort of medicinal, but alcohol, on the other hand, is not something that they condone.
So this whole time we could have been smoking some exotic products.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even know about it.
Yeah, man. Everything in the city is named after flowers.
Yeah, I want to pull out a cigar and light it.
All right. Yeah, so you
Smoke on
sort
it,
of light the cigar and
Yes.
the warm glow of
Smoking
the cigar.
is definitely preferred in the city. Outside the city, drink all you want. Inside the city, it's not allowed.
So Tyrell, you kind of remember a bit of a a burning in your pocket, and you remember that there may be a certain date that you had in mind, that there was a event that was set to transpire.
I feel like that's the wrong person to give an important date on a piece of paper too.
In fact, all of you are starting to think, did I have something important to do today?
Well, this evening is the big parade and the big showing. There's obviously the big parties that are going on. Is it getting late in the evening, Christian, or is it?
It is. Yeah. It is. The sun is, starting to go down. It's not quite dark yet, but it's about the time most people are going home to eat and then head out for the night for the parade and everything.
Well, do you guys want to go get ready?
Yeah.
You can all go get ready separately if you'd like and meet up at a certain location. Or if there's anything that you individually would like to do before we sort of regroup here, you can do that real quick. So, Detective Easter, if you need to run and kind of drop your stuff off at the Hall of Justice while you change, you could do that.
I kind of got to go drop some of this stuff off, so I'm
sure thing. So Detective
I'll
Easter.
catch up with you guys back at the end.
Yep, he splits. Anybody else need to run and do anything before we go?
Mm-mm.
You need Pip to run and do anything while you guys are away?
Can you go and find us the dankest of flowers?
Sure thing. I got the hookup.
I'll flip him a coin. Gold piece.
This'll do just fine. Where would you like to meet back at my house with it?
No, let's meet at the where people get hanged.
Okay. Weird place, but sure thing. Come on, Lil, let's go. So Pip and Lil dart off.
Who's Piccolo in front of us? Is that just a bystander?
He's feeding his chickens.
Oh, okay. I thought he's pretty close to our group. I didn't know if he...
Maybe he's been eavesdropping this whole time.
Oh my gosh, we should kill him.
The moment I leave, you guys want to kill people.
We're invincible. We are literally the saviors of my panties. Like, we can't do any wrong.
Whoa! Way up in the sky. Okay. So, at this part, I'm not... No surprises here for anybody, but you had been invited to a party.
What?
Yeah. You each got an invitation. If I remember correctly, the invitation had some information. It told you to meet at the Nicanthes Arbitritis Manor on this night before the epoch of Eventide for a dinner party. You were to show up in color and a corresponding costume with said codename. So, how we can do this is if you guys want to meet up at the Nicanthes Arbitritis Manor, if you want to leave the Discord chat, change your Discord name to the name that I gave you. If you don't remember the name that I gave you, then...
Look at your text.
Well, the text that I sent you is not going to be your name. The text that I sent you is something else. So if you need to know your name, like your invitation that I sent you a while back, that should have your name. So if you need to know your name, you can text me that now. And if you can leave the Discord and join the Discord with your new name, I'll move everybody over to the Nicanthes Arbitritis Manor. Does that sound okay to everybody? Does everybody know how to do that?
How do I leave? I always forget.
The
I just
So
usually
do we need to do like voices so we don't know who's who?
You can do a voice or you can not do a voice. It's totally up to you. I mean, ultimately, if you don't even want to change your name in the Discord, you don't have to do that either, but
No, we have to do that.
it'll make it more fun if you do. All right, I'll move everybody over to the Arbitratus Manor. Going through the forest, going through the forest, going through the forest. Yes, we are. Where is the front gate? I don't really remember. There it is. Front gate. Bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Do these open? These have to open. They do open. Look at that go. Woo! Okay. So, actually, we're not going to use the unique characters for this one. So,
Did everybody log off?
everybody logged off to change their name. So when they rejoin, they're rejoining.
My mom called me 6 fucking times. She knows what I'm doing. She just kept calling. So I
It's good.
what? So what's?
So
what did I miss?
So I'm gonna text you your name. If you want to leave Discord, change your name from Great Big Powerful Buford to the name that I text you, and then rejoin the chat.
Okay.
Do you know how
do
to do that?
No. There's a reason why I've never changed it. I'm sure I can figure it out. I'm not a complete
Okay.
maybe. Great big powerful Buford account. Yeah.
You got it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and leave and then come back with your name, like I said.
Okay.
Let's see. What is gonna make the best one? Oh, I kind of like you. You're good. Actually, let's... Okay, so we got Mr. Red, Mr. White, Mr. Blue, Ranger Steve. Is Ian still there? Never mind.
Maybe.
Ah. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
You chuckle.
I'm chuckling. Yeah. Do you need?
Why?
Huh? Can
Why?
you change your name and rejoin the party?
I did.
It's still Ranger Steve.
My screen says Mr. Green.
Just hit the disconnect and rejoin.
Mr. Green, loser, right?
It's weird. Does it say Ranger Steve on everybody else's?
Yeah.
It literally says Mr. Green and it has a dark green background on mine.
Hmm.
Oh, I see a Mr. Green, and I have no idea what that is.
Okay. We'll roll with this then.
Well, it would be cooler colors and shit too. Mine shows it's right on mine.
I don't know, man. I see everybody else's as. There it goes. It just switched. I don't know what you just did, but it just switched.
I didn't do anything.
Mine's still Ranger Steve.
I joined like 8 minutes ago, and this is exactly what I had.
Okay, so
Ranger Steve slow.
you guys walk up to the
Not
Nicanthes
Mr. Green.
Arbitritis Manor. The first one through the gate, through the door. You sort of rap on the door loudly, and let's just say Mr. Green is up first. So, Mr. Green, you knock on the door. The butler opens the front door and says, yes, Mr. Green, please come in. And Mr. Green, please describe your attire.
I have donned my Power Ranger,
Okay.
and I have a big, like a mask that has big green ears and 2 big green tusks coming in.
Gotcha. Let's do... All right. So this will be Mr. Green's marker for the tonight's proceedings. The butler says, please find your way into the ballroom if you would, please. The rest of the guests will be arriving shortly.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Help yourself to any of the refreshments that you may find. Just as Mr. Green sort of enters the ballroom, another knock happens at the door. The butler opens the door and says, "Oh, yes, Mr. Red. Thank you for coming. Please come inside." Mr. Red, please describe your visage.
Oh yeah. Wide open. I look like the Kool-Aid man.
Please, Mr. Red, no need to damage our doors. Please find your way inside the ballroom if you would, please.
I go barreling into the ballroom and bust the doors open. Oh yeah.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to think of what would be closest to the Kool-Aid man.
Just like a red balloon. Do you have anything like that?
That guy's kind of okay. He's kind of Kool-Aid man-esque. In spirit, maybe, I guess, more so than... So, yes, Mr. Red busts into the room. Mr. Red, you see Mr. Green. This time there's a little bit lighter knock on the door, and the butler sort of peers open the door this time, afraid that it's going to be kicked in again by someone, but... Oh, yes, Mr. White, please come inside. Please, out of this dreary, dismal weather, I'm so glad you made it.
Thank you very much.
Please describe your visage to us, your costume.
Oh, can you not see me?
For the viewers, yeah.
Well,
And for
I have
my
a rather
sake.
exquisite green cloak, full of surprise. I mean, it's very nice. Nothing to see here with a gold ravenesque. That is, to me, reminding of a raven, gold-plated face mask.
Oh, okay. All right. I feel like this guy is kind of your thing then. All right. So you step right inside. You're met with two other characters. Before the butler can even close the door, a foot makes its way in between the doors, and the butler says, "Miss Yellow, please come in. Yes, yes, Miss Yellow."
Hello. I am Miss Yellow.
Thank you for being promptly here on time. I must say that is a most beautiful visage you have.
Thank you. I'm not one for imagination. I don't have much of it. So I thought I'd go as one of my favorite people in the world, Taylor V.
You strike a pose. Says,
They look
"Wow."
exactly the same, except I wear a black face mask.
Says, "Very impressive. Please join the other guests in the ballroom."
Oh, I will. Thank you.
He closes the door and he hears what may be multiple footsteps outside and a slight shuffling, and he opens the door to find Mr. Blue. So glad you could join us. Please, please come inside. Mr. Blue, what are you wearing?
Hold on. I sent a picture.
You sent a picture to me?
It's in Discord.
Oh. Hang on. Oh, okay. You all sent things in Discord.
Could you describe him for us?
Let's see. I don't even know. Oh, wait. There might be something. It's kinda. Not really. Sorry, I didn't know what any of you guys were gonna look like.
I mean, I'd love to describe myself for you guys.
Please do so while I pick your idol. Here we go. This will work. Okie dokie. Ooh, spooky. Spooky.
It's not working.
What's not working?
Can you guys hear that?
No?
Why is it not working? I
Mm,
thought it would work.
no idea. Let's see. Human. So... there's another knocking at the door. And this time, you hear the butler say, "Oh, yes, Mr. Pink. Please come in. Thank you for coming all this way. Please find the rest of the group in the ballroom." Human. So Mr. Pink enters. And then finally, the final person to enter is...
Can you hear it?
Yes, I can hear it now.
It's a little late, but this is what I was trying.
If you had that kind of entrance, you gotta just do it improv next time. Just you didn't have that rehearsed.
No, I did not, but I'm really disappointed that I totally missed my
So the butler comes in and says, "It appears as if one of our dinner guests is rather late, but Master Dion would like to welcome all of you into his home and are glad that you have made it here for the dinner party tonight. Please, for the fun of the activities, it is only fair that you keep your identity secret from the rest of the dinner guests. You may ask questions, but do not pry too deeply for the fun of the game. Now, would any of you like any refreshments? We have the finest blackberry wine. I may remind you that it is completely legal here on the Nicantes Arbitratus Manor.
Oh yeah.
Very well, you may help yourselves to the glasses. You may find them in your seats. So you guys can kind of get comfy where you want to. And you guys can chat it up a little bit while I get some stuff prepared. Kind of talk amongst each other, mingle. So as I've said before, there's Mr. Green in the room. There's Mr. Blue, Mr. White. Sorry, Mrs. Blue, Mr. White, Mr. Red, Mrs. Yellow. Mr. Black has not arrived yet, and Mr. Pink, as well as the butler. You heard him say the name Master Dion, which you can only assume is Archduke Dionysius Arbitratus the 13th. Please mingle. I'll be right outside if any of you have any questions. Well, as I said, we're waiting on one more dinner guest, Mr. Black.
Good chap, Mr. Green. If that's your name, are you a cop? Of the police?
Mr. Green, he's talking to you.
Oh, Mr. Green. Am I a cop?
Yeah, are you a cop?
Are you a cop?
I'm not at liberty to tell you that.
Well, if you're not gonna tell me, then I'm not gonna tell you, bud.
Very well.
What's your name?
I am Mr. White.
That's a pretty boring name.
A bit racist.
Definitely a cop man with that color.
Did you just randomly get an accent there? What happened there? Do you know any of these guys in this room? Or women, I suppose?
I don't know. We should find out.
I want to point at right at Mrs. Blue.
All right. You point right here at Mrs. Blue.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I thought you were gonna go with Wah!
I almost did. That's so funny. I just decided not to.
Oh my.
I'm Mr. Green. You've got quite the outfit tonight.
Oh, these old things? I just threw this on.
It's pretty large. I mean, are you this girthy? Or are you trying to hide something?
I'm big boned. It's a pretty forward question to ask someone first meeting.
Yeah, just, I'd break the ice pretty early on in the evening. I'm sure we're going to get a little loosey-goosey tonight, so...
Oh, I hope we get a little loosey-goosey. Maybe me and you can get a little loosey-goosey.
I never.
So, as you guys are sipping on your delicious blackberry wine and mingling amongst each other...
I'm Christian. I'm not gonna drink that.
That's fine. Sure.
I'm
Seemingly
just gonna
drinking.
pour it into the water that's surrounded me. That's
Seemingly
Makes it look like a
drinking your blackberry wine. The lights go out. Complete darkness. The electric illumination that had once lit all of the hallways on your way inside and the rooms, all that's left is suddenly candlelight. You hear
Oh no, what happened to my third glass of wine?
you hear the door bust open and you turn around to see the butler rush in. The butler rushes in and says, "Dion has been murdered."
we must investigate. And I'm gonna run through the door and yell, "Oh yeah!"
Before you can take a step, he says, "All of you, stop. We must discover who the murderer is. We must lock down this level of the manor until we can determine who is at fault for the murder of Archduke Dionysius Arbitritus the 13th. God rest his soul."
Is there
Well,
potential?
we were all in here.
But like, does it really affect us? No one knew the person.
Does it affect us?
I mean, oh no.
Archduke Dionysius the 13th? He's the most well-known noble in all of Nicanthes. Nicanthes is named after the Archduke's family himself, and you say, is he important?
He wasn't good at the 7th.
You, madam, are looking rather
Damn.
suspect. There's only one way to discover who did this.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors. You jest. Yet again, you, madam, are looking most suspect of all. Your light-hearted nature at the matter at hand. No.
Excuse me, Butler, but weren't we all in here and you call murder while running back into the room while we were all in here?
Oh, you say you were all in here, and how do you know you were all in here? The lights were out for a good 3 minutes. You could have run anywhere on this floor.
I yelled
Okay,
at the
that makes a
darkness
little bit
and
more
not my
sense.
wine.
Thank you for the help there.
Of course the murderer would find themselves back in this room to absolve themselves of any of the blame. I, for one, will not stand for it. You see him put a key up above him, and he puts it down his throat, and he swallows it. He says, "I have just swallowed the only key that lets us free of this floor. The murder happened on this floor, and I intend to find the murderer of Dion before the end of the night." There's another puzzling thing that's happened while you all sort of scan the room. You realize that Mr. Green is gone. Where is Mr. Green? Mr.
He's
Green!
not here. He must be the murderer.
Very suspect indeed.
Guilty, I say. Guilty.
No!
Coward.
We will get to the bottom of this, Mr. Green.
No, we will get to the top of it first and work our way
The
down.
middle first.
I like the way you think. Every location, top to bottom, middle, right, left, you name it. I will not rest until I find Dion's murderer.
Unilaterally.
So this is how it's going to work. We're going to play Clue.
Oh, I figured that might have been what we were doing.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna work. We're gonna play Clue.
I'm excited, Chris. I figured there wasn't an easy way out of, this doesn't involve us. We'll see y'all.
Yeah.
We just leave.
It sounds like fun. I'm ready to play.
Okay, so we are
Mr.
gonna
Green
do this.
just dies 'cause they thought we were playing hide and seek.
So we are gonna do this. You all retain your guises of who you are, but there is a murderer among you, or maybe not.
Are we playing Among Us?
In a sense, it is also kind of Among Us. Yes.
Because I played it at recess.
Jared's not gonna play then.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's Clue. We're playing Clue. So I texted.
Let me say this: Mr. White is acting very sus. I didn't see him throw out his garbage earlier.
So I
But
texted.
Mr. Green is gone.
Mr. Green is gone.
That is also very sus.
So
on Mr. Red.
on your detective sheets that I sent you guys, you can cross out Dion and you can cross out Mr. Green.
This is actually the same detective sheets that the Keepers of Justice use.
No.
So we don't solve very many crimes. We have just a list of suspects, weapons, and rooms. And if we don't get it right, we call it off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is going to play out exactly like Clue. Instead of your D20 tonight, you're going to be rolling 2 D6s to move around. When you make it into a room, you are able to make an assumption. An assumption is different than an accusation. An accusation is when you think you have the right answer. So out of the list of potential rooms and items and people, there is a correct answer. That correct answer will not be revealed until someone achieves it. So if you make an accusation, which is your final say, the one that you think is right, then that is for all the beans. If you get it right, you'll continue, you win the game. If you get it wrong, you will lose the game. So sort of whittle down all of the possibilities until you think you can make the right call. You can only summon the people into the different rooms when you are occupying said room. So when you roll 2 D6s, you'll move the number of spaces exactly as they're seen here. So like if the butler was moving and you got a 5, he'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he wouldn't be able to make a claim that turn. But then if he did eventually make it, and he made it to, let's say, the dining room, he entered the dining room, he would say, I would like to make the assumption that it was Mr. Red in the dining room with the Yanti dagger. So then all 3 of those items would be placed in it, and we would go around the circle. So I will have you guys roll initiative. And then that list of people will go in that order. We'll go top to bottom over and over and over. That's how we'll roll. That's how we'll choose who does the next turns. But let's go ahead and get that out of the way now. So go ahead and get your D20, make a roll, and then we'll set up initiative and get started. Does anybody not know how to play Clue?
I've never played Clue a day in my life.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward.
The movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movie.
Damn.
Been a good 10 years for me.
I think he has some homework to do.
So we move around.
You move
When
around.
We make it into a room. We
Yes.
say that we suspect it's a person,
Yes.
weapon, and do we have to say it's that room, or can we say any room?
So you have to say the room that you are going into. So if it's the room you suspect, you have to move into that room to suspect a person.
Okay. And do we search for clues anywhere other than just saying we suspect something?
Yes. So when you suspect something, you will ask the person below you in initiative if they have any of those cards. If that person below you in initiative has any of those cards, they have to text them to you. So you guys are going to have to open a text. I know I'm asking a lot. You're going to have to text whoever is above or below you in the initiative.
Yes or no?
So
If you have one of those.
So
Okay.
if the butler was like, Mr. Red in the dining room with the rope, then the person down from him in the initiative, if that person had any of those things, in their list that I sent you, then you would have to
It
text
should
them.
text
Yes.
that you have the rope, and that way we know it wasn't the rope that did it.
Right, exactly. So
Gotcha.
then once you get that information from the person below you, you can make that little X on your sheet, and we'll proceed.
And we are to assume that Dion and Mr. Green are gone and could not have done this.
Yes, that's why I say go ahead and cross them off of that list now.
Gotcha.
So
That sucks that Cam will never be able to join us again, so.
yeah.
The questions are audible, but the answers are only via text.
So the
Correct.
the person, place, and no one will have been texted that.
So essentially the evidence that is missing from all of you guys' information that I sent you is
Yes.
the correct answer. You're
Okay.
trying to figure out what is missing from that detective list. So if someone has a card, that's why if they text you, yes, I have the rope, or yes, I have the whatever person, then you know that that person is not implicated in one way or another.
So are we going to have to roll initiative multiple times? 'Cause
Nope.
won't I have the same person underneath me every single time?
Once that person beneath you has given that sort of clue, if they don't have any more clues, then you ask the person below them. So once you go through, it becomes the next person in line all the way through. So essentially, it will run through the entire list eventually. Does that make sense?
So I need to keep track of and text them personally and
Yes.
not. Okay. So
So you'll need
So
to
for-
open
I'll
a...
roll for initiative and write it down then.
Yes, so I'm going to write down the initiative now. I'll go ahead and start. Anybody get a 20? 19? 18? 17? 16? 15? 14? 13? Really? 12? 11?
Damn.
Yellow.
Did you all by chance roll a d6?
D20.
D20. Do we D20 for the initiative? D6
I
for
rolled in
movement.
yellow. 11.
So 10, 9, 8, 7,
Mr. White?
6, 5, 4, 3,
Blue.
2, 1.
What?
Mr. Red, where did you roll? What did you roll for initiative? Mr. Red.
He's muted.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, 12. I was shouting out at 12, and then Ian was right there behind me, so I thought you got us. That was my bad.
Ian.
Mr. Pink, what did you roll?
$15.
Good lord.
Okay. And the butler will go last. So, as the butler is saying that Mr. Pink will go first, you see someone step in the room. And say, "I, Mr. Black. I'm sorry I missed all the festivities. I was in the loo." So, what's up? What's going on? The butler sort of turns and says, "Mr. Black, you were in the loo? What kind of excuse is that?" Mr. Black says, well, you got a shit, you got a shit. That's where I was at. The butler sort of shakes his head and says, very well. Mr. Black will be joining us in this witch hunt. Now that everyone is here, we shall begin. Mr. Pink, you are first. So, Mr. Pink, which the first one for all you guys is going to be a freebie, so it's pretty much going to be where you choose to start. So, out of all the locations here on screen, you've got the library, the powder room, the lounge, the dining hall, the kitchen, the observatory, the map room, the sex dungeon, and the ballroom. So where would you like to investigate first, Mr. Pink?
I would like to go to the map room.
Very well. All right. What is your first and free accusation you would like to make?
Is this a full accusation?
Sorry. Assumption is what I meant to say. Assumption.
Are we talking just weapon or...
All three. So who do you think it was? Where do you think you thought it happened in the map room? And what was the instrument? So this is essentially your first assumption. So just take a stab at it.
I've never played this game. I'm going to say it was the map room with a phallic totem, and the murderer was Mrs. Yellow.
Okay, so Mrs. Yellow, the phallic totem in the map room. So the person below you, Mr. Pink, is Mr. Red. Mr. Red, if you have any of those items, or how about this? Instead of going just, well, that would make it go too fast. Yeah, Mr. Red, if you have any of those items, Mrs. Yellow in the map room with the phallic totem, please text that to him now. We will then go to you, Mr. Red, for your first free assumption. So, just for clarity's sake, the three things that I sent each and every one of you in a text earlier today, those are the items that you have as evidence. So those are the things you know to be exempt from this case. Those are the three personal things that you discovered yourself. You do not know the rest of those items. So you know that those three things that you have are three things that could not be the murder person, location, or weapon. So each person has three things.
Okay. I want to go to the library.
All right. And what would your first assumption be?
Okay, so it's going to be Mr. Black.
Okay.
In the library with the fire poker.
Mr. or Miss Yellow, if you have Mr. Black, the fire poker, or the library, please text Mr. Red.
And so if they say they have those, we assume those are not the murder weapon or area or person?
Yes.
Okay.
You're trying to figure out what is missing. So all of you have a series of three items.
Right.
Either a room, a weapon, or a... So among those, you're trying to figure out what other ones everyone else has, what's missing from your list, and then assuming that is who did it and where.
Is there any benefit to writing down these assumptions?
It helps your memory.
So no.
I mean, When you make the final accusation? I mean, you could just make a final accusation right now and sit out the rest of the game. I doubt you'd get it, but...
No, I've just never played this game before. Like, should I write down what Cameron said and write down what, not Cameron.
No, because those aren't confirmed. Those are just questions they're asking, essentially.
Right. They're only confirmed if you get a text from the person that you are.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's no... Later on in the game, there's no point in having that information.
Until you make your accusation. It's
So
building
is that the person
accusation.
below me is going to text either? Will they text none if they don't have any?
Yes.
Okay. That will help. That way you know you got a text.
So, later on in the game, if 4 out of 5 of us have the same conclusion, then it's safe to say who the person probably is. But if it's all over the board, yeah.
Right.
Christian, I do want to state, as I left that room and as I went into the library, I said, "Oh yeah," very loud.
All right. You are the Kool-Aid man. Miss Yellow, you are up next. So your first free assumption. Which room, which person, which item?
Okay. I will go to the powder room.
Powder room. Now, who do you think it was, and what did they use?
I think it was Miss Blue with the ornate tankard.
All right, so Mr. White, if you have the powder room, the ornate tankard, or Miss Blue, please text Mrs. Yellow. And then Mr. White, you are up for your first assumption. Also, please remember that Mr. Black and the butler are in this as well. You will text me for Mr. Black and the butler.
Does Mr. Black after the butler?
Mr. Black is not the butler. The butler is the butler. Mr. Black is the raven, the one that walked in late and was in the bathroom.
In the order, in our order, it goes pink, red, yellow, white, blue, butler,
Black.
black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you all done? Very well. I am feeling a bit peckish. I would like to go to the dining room.
Very well.
And I would like to call upon the butler. As I believe he may have used the anti-dagger.
I am so glad I wrote all this down.
Which room did he go to again?
The dining room.
So dining room, butler, and the Yanti.
Mm-hmm.
Who was below him? Is that Josh below him?
Yes, Mrs. Blue. You have your first free assumption. Pick a room, pick a person, pick an item. If you need a refresher on any of the rooms, you can always look at that card or ask me. I can give you a running list. Mrs. Blue, are you there?
Sorry, mute. Sex Dungeon, Elven Rope, Mr. White.
Oh, Mr. White. Do you know something about Mr. White and his affinity for ropes?
Who doesn't have an affinity for ropes?
I thought that was a good combo to have on there.
Okay, so the...
Yeah, I'm putting the clues together, guys. Look where I'm located.
And who is that directed?
The
towards?
person,
Sorry, I don't know.
the person below you is the butler. And the butler will respond to the sex dungeon, Mr. White rope. Okay. The butler is up next. The butler is going to accuse Mr. Red in the lounge with the fire poker. Mr. Black will respond if he has any of those. Then Mr. Black will go. Mr. Black is going to accuse Mr. Blue in the observatory with the Yanti dagger. So that means Mr. Pink, you will respond to me. You could text me, Christian. If Mr. Black on your list...
Do we only send the 3 things you send us, or do we add on as we fill this card out?
So the card is meant for you to cross off things that you confirm that you get in texts from other people. So the 3 that you have, you can already cross off. Those are things you know are not involved in the murder.
Yeah, but like I'm learning things as we play this game. If I'm under Mr. White and he guesses something that I have crossed off, but it's not one of the 3 that you originally sent me, do I text him and tell him that I have that clue?
If you're below him, or if I tell you to, yes. I will. I always recap who is sending who what in the text. So if you just listen when it's your turn, I'll tell you when it's your turn to text someone something.
I understand.
Yeah, no, he's asking, so like, with the new information each round, we've got extra X marks on our board.
Yeah.
Do we give that information up to the person who's asking us?
Or do you only always tell the 3 things that you sent me?
For the pacing, you can, if there's new things that you learn, you can. Yeah, let's do it that way. I like that. Yeah. So yes, as you learn new things, the people who will continue to come to you for things will also learn those new things. So as you cross them off on your list, you will also be able to tell them new information. That way we don't have to go down the list all the way. The person below you will always just have new information for you when you prod them again for answers. Does that make sense to everybody? Sure.
Yeah, that's how I would.
Okay.
It made sense to me.
Sorry, it's a little janky trying to do it over all of this way, but I think it's working. So.
Yeah, this is fun. Even though you told me I was an idiot 3 times, and then.
When did I tell you you're an idiot? I never said you're an idiot.
He didn't say it. He was just thinking it.
You just repeated yourself to me 3 times and finally can't.
It was insinuated.
Well, it is Mr. Pink's turn. So, Mr. Pink, we are now going to do the rolls. You've all gotten your free accusation and location. So, Mr. Pink, where would you like to move? Roll your 2 d6s. You start just outside the door. And while this game goes on...
I tell you, Mike?
Yes, tell me the number. It's good.
Oh.
Yeah.
3.
3? Which room would you like to move towards? Or which direction would you like to move?
Okay, so from here on out, we can't get to that room. It just depends on our roll.
So that's what's going to slow you down. Like, you're going to have to choose wisely which room you want to check. So, like, you're going to only be able to move 3 spaces, but you won't be able to make a assumption until you're in a room.
Gotcha. Okay. What's the room directly north of the
sex dungeon?
Ooh, let's head towards the sex dungeon.
Okay. And for role-playing purposes, now you rolled 2d6s, is that correct?
Yeah, I got 3.
Damn. Okay.
It's terrible.
For role-playing purposes, if you guys cross paths in a hallway or anything, or share a room with someone, you can whisper to them, and we'll all pretend like we don't hear it. So you can have little conversations. It doesn't have to be pertinent to what's going on. It can be pertinent to what's going on, but it doesn't have to be. Just a little extra little added layer there. So no assumption there. Mr. Red, it is your turn. You're going to start just outside the room. What was your roll?
It was also a 3.
All right. You can make it to the dining room from where you're at, if you'd like, or we can move somewhere else.
I'll go to the dining room.
All right. What assumption would you like to make in the dining room?
So inside the dining room, is there anybody in there?
There is. The butler.
Lads, man, did you just break a hole in that wall?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. White, you're actually in the sex dungeon.
Mr.
This is the butler in here.
The butler's in there? Okay.
Good lord, man! You're always busting down doors!
Wait, I thought Mrs. Blue went to the sex dungeon.
Mrs. Blue was... She was...
Because
I was in the sex dungeon with the elven rope, Mr. White.
Every time someone makes an assumption, though, your piece moves to that location.
Oh. Did not know that.
Oh, so they went to a room, but they assumed a different room?
Yes. So, like...
Gotcha.
When you make
yeah.
an assumption, that person's character is moved to that room.
Didn't Mr. White assume the dining room?
Mr. White assumed...
Or was he just starting in the dining room?
Mr. White was accused, or not accused, but an assumption was made by whoever was in the sex dungeon. He ended up in the sex dungeon because someone thought he... It was Mr. Blue that said he was in the sex dungeon. But then someone made an assumption that Mr. Blue was in the observatory. So that's why Mr. Blue was moved from...
Wait, I guess I'm a little confused here. So the room that we picked originally, we said that room for the assumption, but we assumed, it was somebody else there. So I thought, did Mr. White not say or assume the dining room? Jared, did you assume the dining room?
But afterwards, Mr. Blue assumed me in the sex dungeon, and why, whilst I am in this room now. On every assumption made, the piece moves.
That's how you... I mean, that's how you play Clue, right?
It'll make sense. Yeah.
It just helps
I was just making sure I had it right.
It just helps to move the pieces around faster, because if it wasn't, it also screws with people's plans. It's just meant to add more confusion.
Gotcha.
So when you make assumptions, you move all of those objects into the room together.
Okay, so I'm in...
Do you get a free assumption because you got moved?
I made everyone have the first free assumption so we could get everybody out onto the board.
Gotcha.
So assumptions you still make, but you can only make assumptions when you're in a room. And if you want to make an assumption in the kitchen, you have to move to the kitchen in order to make that assumption.
Gotcha.
But you pull the item and the person you're accusing to that room.
But because
okay, so you can screw with all their movements. If they're trying to move to another room, you can accuse them back to a room.
Yes, because think of it like this: you are trying to accuse someone, right? So you meet them in the room. You say, "I think you did it in this room with this weapon."
Okay.
So if you are in the dining room right now, then you're... we can go back. If you don't want to be in the dining room anymore and go somewhere else, we could do that.
That's fine.
Okay.
I think it is Mr. Pink with the candlestick in the dining room.
Mr. Pink in the in the dining room with the candlestick. So, Mr. Yellow, if you have any of that information, please share it with Mr. Red.
Is
Is
it
it
Miss Yellow?
Miss Yellow, sorry. And then Ms. Yellow, it is your turn to move.
Thank you. I will, of course, be venturing the library.
All right, what'd you roll? 2d6s.
9.
Okay, you're almost to the library. No assumptions can be made. Mr. White, you are up.
Who is in the pecking order after this?
Where are you going with your big 2?
Why did you jinx that roll?
You said 2.
I think the transmissions are a bit choppy.
He said, "Who is below
Oh. Who is below yellow?
in the order?"
Who's below you? White is blue.
I'll just move straight north.
Okay. And you got a 2, is that correct? Or what did you get?
2.
Okay. No assumptions can be made. The butler's going to go.
Hey, wait, hold on. Sorry.
Wait.
Sure.
Where did Mr. Pink go?
Mr. Pink?
Did he get dragged somewhere?
Yes, Mr. Pink got dragged to the dining room.
Oh shit. So whoever did that, please text me what you said. I was telling Teddy goodnight. That's my apologies. Continue on with the game, but whoever did that.
But that's not who texts you if you
I was
drag
going to
him,
say,
right?
no. Just because you got assumed to be in a room, you don't get a text. It's only the person who's making the assumption that gets the text.
I know, but me as being, I didn't hear what it was, so I need to
Oh,
text
Mr.
Reddit.
Red assumed Mr. Pink in the dining room with the candlestick.
All right, yeah, never mind, you're not below me. I'm not. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad. That's my bad.
No worries.
And you want with the guy?
Isn't it my?
It's
not
it's the butler's turn. Oh wait, no, it is yours. Sorry, Mrs. Blue. Please, roll your die. Make your move.
Ooh, 5. 3.
Still headed up to the library.
I wasn't headed anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I was in the observatory. I got moved to the observatory.
Yep.
So where is that?
Oh wait,
I
I moved
think-
the wrong
I
piece.
think
I needed to
you're-
move
He's
you.
close.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you moved me instead of Ian or Mrs. Yellow.
Yes. So you are right here. Sorry.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could either go to the room right north of me or the living room. Is that the living?
That is the ballroom.
Okay. What's right north of me?
The map room.
Can I go to the map room,
Sure.
please?
I had to move around the door, but that's 5, 6 right here. So you're in the map room.
Okay.
So you can make an assumption in the map room if you would like.
Yeah. Miss Yellow in the map room with fire poker.
So the butler will text you.
Oh. Never had a friend like me.
And I realize I don't have to move the butler or Mr. Black because I know those. And I also... So we're back to the top, Mr. Pink.
I'm in the dining room, correct?
Correct. So you'll be just outside the dining room. So where the doors are, you guys can start at different doors. So this room has 2 doors. You can either start here or start there. We'll say the...
Okay. But I'm not in it. I have to get in it with a roll.
Yeah, begin with your roll. So
6.
So you got a couple options. You can go, you know, here or there. You could probably even go to the ballroom. Yeah, you can make it to the ballroom, and you can make it to either one of these rooms, the powder room or the lounge.
Go to the ballroom.
All right. Who are you assuming? With what?
I want to say it was the butler with a elven robe.
Okay, Mr. Red. If you have any of those, please text them to Mr. Pink. And then Mr. Red, go ahead and roll. It is your turn.
Which room was Mr. Pink asking for again?
The ballroom.
Ballroom. Okay. I'll text Mr. Pink in just a second. I need to do a cool roll right here. And I got another 3. It's great. Last time I got a 2 and 1. This time I got a 1 and a 2.
You could make it to the lounge, or you could try and move somewhere else.
I'm going to try to... Don't want to
Hey,
guess from the lounge. Yeah, I guess I'll go to the lounge.
All right. What were you saying,
So,
Josh? Or
Well, doesn't-
Mr. Pink kind of has a disadvantage because I get half of the amount of information as everybody else with an NPC player being above me.
well, and I was gonna say, I have the butler underneath me, don't I? Doesn't
okay.
Mr. or Mrs. Yellow need to text me? Since I accused Miss Yellow, doesn't she need to text me if she has information also?
no, it's just the person below you, because as they learn things, you learn things. So the person that you're assuming did them is not the one that's filling you in with more information. It's always going to be the person below you. It's the same rule as like to your right, but we're just doing the one below you. But I see what you're saying, Cameron, in that so Mr. Butler and Mr. Black do need to make turns just so you get that information as well.
Also, Ian, last time I didn't get a text from you.
Oh, I did send it. I'll check again.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that wouldn't matter. I wouldn't, because I don't get information from them above me. I just
No.
get information from Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, if you...
So
Like,
that
I already know all the answers for Butler and Black,
Right.
so if they ever need to text anyone those answers, I can. But that's only...
that'd be above them.
Right.
So, okay.
Alright, I sent it again, Kobe.
Oh boy.
So, Mr. Red, it is your turn in the lounge.
So I'm in the lounge.
You make an assumption.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess Mr. White in the lounge. Didn't like that. Mr. White in the lounge with the Yonti dagger.
I'll start.
All right, so Miss
But
Yellow.
we're in the same room, so on his turn we can talk, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Miss Yellow, if you have Mr. White, the lounge, or the Auntie Dagger, please text to Mr. Red. And then Mrs. Yellow, it is your turn. You are in the map room currently with Mrs. Blue. If you'd like to converse.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Blue.
And to be fair, if you guys conversing want to like try and break the game and just tell each other everything you want, or just lie to each other too, you're welcome to do that. Don't have to, just saying.
Where am I at?
You're in the map room currently with Mrs. Blue.
Oh, the map room, of course. Well then, I would like to suspect Mrs. Blue
In the map room?
in this very room
Oh, with what?
with phallic totem.
The phallic totem. So, Mr. White, if you have the map room, the phallic totem, or Mrs. Blue, please text those to Mrs. Yellow. And then Mr. White, it is your turn.
How do I whisper to Miss Yellow?
Just like you would that you're speaking just now.
Okay. You're so pretty.
Pretty hot, I get it.
Was that it?
That was it, I guess.
Well, the landscape changed to a different room, so I was like, okay, we're done with our conversation.
That's how I took it.
Sorry,
That's how I
you're
took
welcome to speak. I was waiting on Mr. White, so I don't know.
it.
I mean, we can admire these beautiful spaces that I've made in Tailspire if you want.
We are deemed not primary characters, so we were moved on.
No, I'm trying to keep the pace going.
Story panned
No, but-
out. Moved to the next section. Understood. Understood.
This blue, why do you glow?
Because I'm just radiant. You've just never had a friend like me.
You already used that one.
You know, it makes me suspect that you don't need a candlestick. So why not use it as a weapon?
Oh. Mr. White, whenever you'd like to
Cat
take your
got your
turn.
tongue?
Have I awoken in another room?
You have. You're suddenly in the lounge with Mr. Red.
Mr. White, I'm glad that you're here. I have learned absolutely nothing. What have you learned?
How peculiar.
I was also
How
thinking that.
done it?
Have you learned any new information than you started with?
But of course.
Well, you see, I've learned nothing. Miss Yellow.
I'll hand you a notepad.
Well, Miss Yellow seems to know nothing. I saw her when we were all in the dark. It seemed that she had been drinking a little too much. I could hear her glass still tipping back as she was playing with that phallic totem. Ugh. So I don't believe it's her, but she's given me no information to help me out. Is there anything on the note that you passed me? Or did you text me?
This says help me.
I got text a video attachment.
Dick pic.
All these
Mr. White, are the X's on here clues that you have discovered? Or just your guesses that are not right?
Those have empirical evidence to
Great.
support not guilty.
That is
this allowed?
great.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you're in the room with someone, you can share information if you want. You can lie about that information. You can. It's totally up to you. You could choose not to cooperate. You could choose to stay silent.
Miss Yellow, what
Now, good sir,
Yes.
good sir, if you could let me know if you've learned any news I don't
Yeah.
already know.
Well, like I said, Miss Yellow has not been very helpful. She has been drinking way too much wine. I saw her using that phallic totem with a hand gesture pointed at her mouth. But it didn't seem like it had any blood on it, so I don't believe that Miss Yellow could have used that phallic totem to kill anybody. But I did observe her doing that. I hope that those clues can help you.
Mr. White, if you would like to roll and move, you may do so.
was that in the ballroom that you saw her doing?
You're not in the room,
What-
Mrs.
what-
Blue.
Is there a voice?
Spirit from above, speak.
Who is yelling?
Quiet in the house.
Yeah.
Christian, the only way you could have tempted all of us to not work together and do that would be like, you get extra XP if you were the one who solves. Everyone would be lying their asses off.
Maybe you do get extra XP, and maybe there's a reward. Nobody knows.
There's thin walls in this building. So.
Maybe the murder is just part of the party. Maybe the murder didn't actually happen, and this is a way to, make sure.
Distract us.
Maybe something was promised to each one of you in a certain invitation, and maybe the only way to obtain that information is if you solve the murder.
Oh. Ooh. No, Miss Blue will never find her father.
Yeah, I give up and go.
Mr. White. Mr. White. Would you like to roll and move?
Tis
Mr. Robot.
this room I reside in.
This is the lounge.
Hold on, I'm gonna change my connection.
Okay. But yes, just to recap: lounge, powder room, library, sex dungeon, map room, observatory, ballroom, kitchen, dining room. This took a bit of time to get exact too. Like, this is the board. Like, this is it right here.
It looked like it was pretty close, Christian. I wasn't sure if it was or not, but I was like, that looks pretty close.
This bit is the only one, like, the corners don't always work well in this, but it's close-ish.
Mariah was watching Clue last week.
It's a great movie. I saw it for the first time not too long ago. I liked it a lot.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Did you watch the one of the random endings, or did you watch the every ending?
I watched
like
the every ending one.
Yeah.
I
Quite
saw it in
alright.
theaters.
So there's a movie Clue where it has multiple endings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they released a couple endings so that way you could try to figure it out, but then they had a different version as well. But if you just click random, like on the DVD, it picks one of the endings for you to play.
It's like Scooby-Doo. Like, diddle-doo, 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 and then you restart.
That's Wayne's World.
Yeah, but the reference is still Scooby-Doo.
Wasn't
That sounds very familiar to Blaine's World. I saw some people dress up as that.
Didn't Adam Sandler make a movie like Murder on a Train or something?
We're going down a
there's-
weird path. Let's get
Yeah.
Jared.
we
go
can
ahead and
talk
say your
about the
answer.
Adam Sandler movie that you're mistaking for a different movie, but yes.
Murder on the Orient Express did not have Adam Sandler, but that would be hilarious if it did.
But like Murder Island had Adam Sandler, and it wasn't that good.
I don't keep up with
No,
Adam
there's
Sandler.
a movie with Adam Sandler where it's on a train
Anyway, Jared, what do you want to roll?
Yeah.
he's with
Stop!
Rachel.
No!
Josh,
Shut up.
stop. Stop.
Hello.
Yes! Mr. White! Please roll and move.
I've rolled eons ago, but
Why
I wanted
didn't
to
you
stay
say
in that
so?
room if I could hear. what room
Okay,
it
you're in the
is.
lounge.
I want to guess that in the lounge, Miss Blue with the candlestick.
All right. And who is below you but Mrs. Blue? Mrs. Blue, if you have Mrs. Blue in the lounge or a candlestick, please text it to Mr. White. Mr. Blue, Mrs. Blue, apologies. Mrs. Blue, Ms. Blue, you are up.
Ah, Miss Blue, welcome to the lounge. Have you learned anything new so far? Don't be shy, Miss Blue. Have you learned anything?
So Miss White's was Miss Blue in the lounge with a candlestick, right?
Yes. So if you have any of those three, text them to Mr. White. This all would be so much easier if we were in person. I appreciate you guys sticking through this, but
Mrs. Blue, welcome to the lounge. Have you learned any information?
Not really. Have you learned information?
Yes, I was just telling Mr. White all about it. I saw Mrs. Yellow a little too tipsy. She had a couple of those blackberry wines, and she was playing with the phallic totem, using it as some sort of device aimed at her mouth. And I was observing that, but I don't believe that she did the murder.
Where were you observing that at?
I observed it while we were all together. I was busy observing. So somewhere you would observe.
My hand in my pants.
that's for the sex dungeon.
But, Miss Blue, have you learned anything yourself about this heinous crime? Any things that we can cross off that are not to be suspected?
I saw Mr. Black playing with a dagger.
Where did you see Mr. Black and this dagger?
The place where you see people.
You see Black and Decker at Home Depot.
What about you, Mr. White? Have you seen anybody?
Is everybody just on mute, or are we just slow to upkeep here?
I guess they're just slow to upkeep.
Yeah, no one's paying attention, I guess. You shouldn't have introduced that we could talk to each other. That's just gonna massive monkey wrench right in the middle of all this.
Maybe we should create characters where we're not old people.
I
Mr.
wrote
White,
months ago.
are you
Big,
there?
young, sparky, fast people.
I'm gonna knock on Mr. White's head. Mr. White!
I have a rather bad connection.
Brutality.
I wasn't sleeping. I will pass you a note, good sir.
All right.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, I get mixed up too. Mrs. Blue,
Okay, that's
it is your turn if you would like to roll and move. Or make an accusation here. Or, sorry, assumption. Unless you're ready to make an accusation, you could do that too.
If I make an assumption here, do I still get to move?
Yeah.
Well, shoot, I'll make an assumption. I think it was Mr. Pink in the. Oh, do I have to? I bring him to the lounge, right?
Yes, correct.
In the lounge with an ornate tankard.
All right, the butler will be texting you. Okay. And then you may roll and move.
5, 6. Ooh.
11. Pretty much free reign to go anywhere you want. Pretty much. Not really. You've got
What?
the dining room. You've got the powder room. You've got the kitchen. You've got the ballroom. Those are probably the ones you can make it to for sure. I don't know.
Take me to the kitchen. No one's been to the kitchen.
All right.
Can't make it to the kitchen on 11.
What? Well, he said I could.
No, I'm saying these are the ones that are like just near you, not the ones you could make it to necessarily. You could get close to the kitchen with 11, but
No, then take me to this one that's right here below us.
You can only make one assumption per turn.
he can only make one assumption per turn, but he can at least move there. So that's why I'm saying if you want to get halfway to a place now, you can do that. So then next time you can finish your roll, make it inside, and
Unless
Okay.
you get accused and get
right.
thrown across the map.
Yes.
Sure. Okay, sure. I'll head towards the kitchen.
All right. I guess I can go over doors. I just saw it go over the door. That's kind of cool. Okay. The butler's turn. Mr. Black's turn. Mr.
And knock
Pink.
on my door, waiting for you. You totally just hummed that. Did you realize that?
I don't know what that is. What song is that?
Three's Company. Come and knock on my door. We'll be waiting for you.
What's Three's Company? I've only seen twos.
I've never seen Three's Company. Mr. Pink, it is your turn.
I rolled an 8, and I want to go to the central north room, whatever that.
The powder room? This one?
Yeah.
All right, you're in the powder room.
Okay. I want to accuse.
You want to accuse or you want to assume?
Assume.
Accusation
I want
is the final say. Assumptions are the
Okay.
freebies.
I want to assume Monsieur Black
Okay.
with the.
Where did we put? Yes, there he is. With the
Fire poker.
okay. So Mr. Red, if you have Mr. Black, the fire poker, or the powder room, please text to Mr. Pink. And then Mr. Red, it will be your turn. Mr. Black kind of
it was Mr. Black with the fire poker in the
powder room.
powder room.
Mr. Black
Okay,
turns
so
to
I
you,
know.
Mr. Pink, and says, "Man, have you seen the loos in this place? Fancy as shit. It's probably the nicest places I've ever taken a dump. personally. How about you? You ever take a good dump before?
Oh yeah, I mean, have you ever experienced something called a bidet?
No, please explain.
Well, you see, you get a nice stream of water that just blows directly, into your derriere.
Is there like a little frog or something down there that shoots it up there, or like what? How does it work?
Yeah, you find a good jet stream, maybe like something deep in the ocean, and some pressure. You release that pressure just right to it. There's no need to wipe or clean your stuff up. It does it for you.
Hot damn! I'm gonna have to give me one of these bidets. You know anybody that sells them?
No, not topside, but a couple connections out in the sea.
Well, if you find one, you let me know. Get one hooked up in this joint. We'll jump over to Mr. Red.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Mr. Red in the ballroom with the ornate tankard. You can't ever roll out yourself, and also I'm not gonna roll well, I might roll. We'll find out. But I'm gonna guess that first.
The room that you go in is the one you have to make the assumption for, though. So you have to make it to the ballroom if you're going to make an assumption in the ballroom.
I was hoping I could just assume myself over there. Okay, never mind then. I guess
you could assume yourself once you're in there.
Okay.
I appreciate the creativity, but...
I got an 8 this time.
Okay.
I've already been in that room, so let's go to a different one.
Okay.
Let's just go left.
All right.
What's that room up to the left, top left?
So you could go into the powder room, or you could go to the library. You can't make it to the library, but...
Let's go to the powder room.
Okay.
I'm going to ask us a bunch of questions.
You're in the powder room. You find Mr. Black and Mr. Pink talking about some sort of hygiene product.
Gentlemen, have you learned anything about this murder of Mr. Dion?
No, but Mr. Pink over here has very generously educated me on bidets. Have you ever heard of a bidet, Mr. Red?
I have not.
Shoots water up your asshole? Sounds pretty cool.
Well, today it seems like most people have been blowing smoke up my asshole.
Mr. Red, Mr. Pink, I think we're going to be quick friends.
I certainly hope so. But anything that you guys have ruled out so far for this, Mr. Pink?
Well, I know for a fact I saw you and Mrs. Yellow holding that phallic totem.
Well, I was not holding a phallic totem. I was nearby looking and gawking at the audacity of Miss Yellow.
I'm just telling you what I saw before the lights went out.
And where did you see this at?
I know I for sure saw that in the map room.
The map room.
After I got done from the loo, I swung by the kitchen to see if I could maybe get a little bit of something. I was feeling peckish, and then I saw the butler doing his panicky thing.
And what was he doing his thing with?
I didn't see any items, actually.
And why were you in the loo for so long? I understand you said you had to take a shit before all this happened, but
yeah, that's right. I was on the road for a while.
From where?
Well, I mean, let's not ruin the surprise yet.
It is the costumes and the surprise are the most important parts of the Epoch of Eventide.
I was promised a party. So far, it's been pretty good.
Well, I have observed basically nothing so far.
I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it.
But I think we could, roll out a place where people meet to eat and a place where people meet for sex, if it was downstairs. And I don't think a dagger was involved. I don't think that they were poked to death with any hot items. Mr. Blue, myself, Miss Yellow, even you, Mr. Pink, I think have all been ruled out. That does leave you, Mr. Black, still on the
kind of
list.
scratches his head and he says, "Are we supposed to be keeping track of this?"
Have I made my assumption yet?
You have not made your assumption, no.
Okay. My assumption is going to be. Let's go with the butler
Okay.
with the ornate tanker
Okay.
in the powdered room.
Miss Yellow, sorry. If you have the ornate tankard, the butler, or the powder room, please text it to Mr. Red. And then Ms. Yellow, it will be your turn.
Hold on.
You're good.
Alright. Where am I?
You're right down here. You've been brought back to the map room yet again.
Alright. I'm gonna take my 7 paces
All right.
towards the sex dungeon.
You are in the sex dungeon. In all its kinky glory.
Alright. I'm going to accuse.
Assume or accuse?
Assume
Okay.
it was indeed. Mr. Black. The fire poker.
What the hell, lady? You dragged me all the way over here? Oh, hey. What's happening in here? This is a pretty cool place.
Tell me what you know, and anything can happen.
Whoa. I saw the butler in the kitchen. And then those guys over there, they were talking about stuff, but I was not listening.
All right.
Mr. White, if you have Mr. Black, the sex dungeon, or what was the item you said, Ms. Yellow? The hot
Fire poker.
fighter poker. Please text that to Miss Yellow. Mr. White, it will be your turn. Miss Yellow, would you like to talk to Mr. Black about anything before we move on?
No.
Man, I was really hoping we could try out some of this stuff in here, Ms. Yellow.
What would you like to try out?
I'm pretty fond of that birdcage over there, actually.
All right, go get in it.
He jumps in the cage gleefully.
I had a baby emergency. Did I miss anything?
Nah, just some sex dungeon stuff.
I heard birdcage.
Yeah, like you said, sex dungeon stuff.
Mr. White, it is your turn.
Indubitably. I rolled an 8.
Indubitably.
I could make it into the powder room.
You could indeed. It's a party in the powder room.
Mr. White, welcome back.
Ah.
I have not ruled you out yet as a suspect. I have ruled myself out as a suspect.
Neither have I.
Well, I can count out Mr. White.
I'm sure you could.
And the lounge and the dining room as well.
The lounge and the dining room.
That's correct, Mr. Red.
But can you rule out any weapons that might have been used? Perhaps an elven rope or a candlestick?
Can't say.
I can neither rule either of those out. It seems to be that my list contains Mr. White, Mr. Black, the butler, the elven rope, the candlestick, the kitchen, the ballroom, and the library. I intend to look over each one of those very carefully. Mr. White, what do you have to say for yourself?
I can speak for Mr. White. I've said it before.
I am quite confused. What was that?
I said you're still one of my suspects.
And I'm saying he shouldn't be.
I don't know you, but I feel a connection with Mr. White for some odd reason.
Suspect who you will, but I, for one, know it was not Mr. White.
Hmm. And who
Mr.
else
White.
might be in this room?
Mr. Pink and Mr. Red and the butler. If you would like to make your assumption now, you may do so, or you can ask some questions, have some dialogue with the people in the room.
Mr. Pink. Do you have any information you might willing to share?
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling the guys here.
He may
before
get back to me. Oh,
Mr. Black decided to take off. I know I saw Miss Yellow and Mr. Red. You know, they're both holding a phallic object. Seem to be fighting over it in the map room. I stopped by the sec dungeon, had a conversation with Mrs. Blue, and she seemed to think that that she saw the candlestick in the room with us before the lights went out. So I'm assuming that probably wasn't the the weapon. But other than that, that's about all I know.
very well. I would like to make an assumption of... Who else could I bring in? Hold. Miss Blue. With the elven...
All right. So, Ms. Blue, if you have Ms. Blue, the elven rope, or the powder room, please text Mr. White. Ms. Blue, it is your turn. You can make an assumption in the powder room if you have not yet done so, or even if you have, or you may roll and move. You may also have a dialogue with the people in the room.
So, anyone have any information on anything?
Hello, Miss Blue. I am still suspect of Mr. Black and the butler. I am somewhat suspect of Mr. White, but everyone else I have ruled out. I am still believe that it might be the elven rope or the candlestick.
You suspect
And
me? The butler?
Of course I do.
I have served Lord Dion for my entire life, and you accuse
and I will
me
serve
of his
you a
murder?
life sentence in court. If
Oh, and who are you to serve a life sentence in court?
It does not matter who I am.
If you are the murderer of Lord Dion, it matters greatly.
How, Mr. Red? How have you already assumed yourself out of being the murderer?
You know, I thought it could have been me for a little while, but just recently I ruled myself out.
And I rule myself out.
I ruled myself out because Mr. Pink here was able to verify that it wasn't me. In that state of darkness, it could have been anybody. But Mr. Red verified it was not me.
Mr. Pink, so you believe...
Mr. Pink.
Yeah,
This is-
Mr. Pink.
That's Mr. Pink. This is Mr. Red.
It's Mr. Pink.
I know. I still don't understand what you guys are confused about.
We're just
I'm
making sure
colorblind.
you're talking to the right person.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I turn,
And
I
I was
turn,
just digging with it.
You turn to
turn to
Mr.
Mr.
Pink. Yep.
and I go, so you are saying that you saw Mr. Red at the time of the murder?
Right before the murder. So, I mean, I saw Mr. Red and Mrs. Yellow. I've expressed this a couple times now. I'm happy to tell you about it. They were
And I've
So,
seen
uh,
Mr. White, and I
they were
know.
fighting over a phallic object in the map room, and then, Mr. Red here has just been a wealth of knowledge.
Oversharing, if you ask me.
Well, Miss Blue, I believe that we can't quite yet rule out Mr. White, not entirely, but I believe it to be most
I've
likely
been
either
telling
Mr.
you,
Black
Mr. White is free of all
or
charges.
you shut up.
Does
I believe it is most likely Mr. Black or the butler. It may have used the elven rope or the candlestick, and it might be in the kitchen, the ballroom, or the library. If you could, or the lounge. If you could rule any of those out, that would be very helpful.
Mr. White,
like-
you can rule out. As well as the lounge.
Well, I've spoken to a couple people now, and I'm pretty confident the candlestick was not involved.
I believe it must be the elven rope then.
What about Mr. Green?
Mr. Green left us.
Does anyone have any information on Mr. Green at all?
Mr. Green is not here.
I
We do not
don't
know
have
where
any
he went.
information on Mr. Green.
But we must assume he was not a part of the murder because I feel like the higher powers
Oh, wait.
gave us that order.
Yeah.
I don't think we can remove any possibilities. Maybe Mr. Green did murder Dion, and he fled the scene. But if we can
Yeah.
determine that no one here is at fault, then it must be Mr. Green.
Well, that'd be great to rule it all the way to Mr. Green. But
Why did Mr. Green? He was here and then he left. Why did he leave? I guess I've missed that part.
I don't pretend to know the motivations of Mr. Green,
He's pooping.
but
Well, then I
he is no longer here. And if you ask me, it is rather suspect.
I say it was Mr. Green then. I think we should all
he said you're accusing.
I'm just talking out loud. I'm trying to convince all of you that we should all, as one, persecute Mr. Green.
I will not agree with that.
I will not rest until I know for certain that no one here murdered Dion.
Well, Miss Blue, can you rule out the elven rope?
No.
Can you rule out the lounge?
Yes.
Or the kitchen? Yes. Can you rule out the kitchen?
I
or
can
the
rule out the
ballroom?
lounge.
I've got the library, the map room, observatory, kitchen, powder room, places that it could have happened.
I believe our prime area
was
might
very-
be the ballroom, and we might be looking for an elven rope.
It's not the ballroom.
It's not the ballroom?
No. How do you know that it's not the powder room, kitchen, observatory, map room, or library?
I've picked up stuff from other. You're saying it is not the ballroom.
Yeah, it's not the ballroom.
Yeah.
So what do you think it? What do you
Definitely
have?
not the map room. I saw some naughty stuff going on.
It is not the observatory. I was there observing Miss Yellow with the phallic totem.
All right, we've spent enough time in this room. We're moving on.
Oh, so
All
I
right,
need.
so
Do we remember whose turn it was? I think it was. Yes.
It's my turn.
It is your turn. So you can make an assumption in this room if it is yours, or you can move.
Well, I think it was Miss Blue with the elven
That's you.
rope in. What are we in?
You're in the powder room.
Can you
In the powder room.
use yourself?
You can
Yeah.
you can assume yourself if you want. Yeah, sure, whatever. So you think it's you in the powder room?
With the elven rope.
Okay. The butler will text you.
I got a 6 and a 3.
Okay. Where would you like to go with 9?
I guess I'll go to the library because I haven't been there before.
All right. Who would you like to make an assumption of?
Well, can I do it again?
Oh, no, you did it in the last room. Good catch. The butler and Mr. Black are going to go, and that brings us back to the top. Mr. Pink, you are up.
All right, friends. I think I'm gonna head out. I rolled a 9.
Where would you like to go?
I have not been to the library either, so I'm going to.
The library it is. What assumption would you like to make in the library?
The elven rope and Mr. Black.
Mr. Black, who is in the sex dungeon. So, he's in the bird cage and he kind of motions to Miss Yellow, says, Miss Yellow, you wanna let me out of this? I think, Mr. Pink's trying to make an assumption over in the library. Miss Yellow, I mean, is this a role play? Are you just keeping me in the bird cage, or you can let me go now? I've had my fill. What's the safe word? Caw! Is that a safe word? Can you let me out now?
Tell me what you know.
What would you like to know? I know that.
Are you the murderer?
No, I'm not the murderer. Neither is the butler, because he was in the kitchen. So, that's what I know. I also know that those guys over in the powder room, they know a lot of stuff, I think. They might be wrong, but I don't know. Sounds like some of
Alright.
them are onto something.
I will let you go.
Freedom! Alright. So, Mr. Red, if you have Mr. Black, the library, or the elven rope, please text Mr. Pink.
Okay, I texted Mr. Pink. I'm going to roll. I got an 8.
Alright, where would you like to go?
Let's go. Is that middle one a room?
No, this is just the entrance where you guys came in.
Okay, I'll go left.
1, 2, 3, 4. You said 8?
Yep, and I'll go down.
You want to go in the sex dungeon or go down farther?
I'll go down farther.
Alright, you're right here.
Okay.
No assumption can be made. Ms. Yellow, you are up. Roll those dice. Unless you'd like to make an assumption in the sex dungeon.
No. I think, let's see. And move 5 paces.
You can make it to the library.
The library it is.
Okay. Who would you like to assume with what in the library?
I would like to assume Mr. Black.
Already here.
Perfect. With the elven rope.
All right. Mr. White, if you have Mr. Black, the library, or the elven rope, please message Ms. Yellow. You know, I said we were going to be fast friends, guys, but you're all making a lot of accusations that I don't think are very well founded.
Well, I mean, just tell us a little about yourself.
Inheritor of a great fortune. Always denied it my entire life. You know, recently came into some successful business ventures. And, I'm just your average playboy billionaire philanthropist.
Well, I mean, what would you want with a giant, property like this?
Property like this. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have any of those bidets you were talking about, which I am gonna start looking into. But I'm into buying up capital. You know, if it's tangible, if you can sell it, I'm all about that.
Are you into buying or just
Buying, selling, you gotta spend money to make money, my friend.
Well, you seem well traveled. How do you like my panties?
Yeah, I never really have been one for Nicanthes, in particular, but I've traveled a long time on the Entrepreneur Skyship with Captain Dirk and Spork. We went all over Morningstar, all over Paludaria, saw faraway lands and places. But you're right, I am a very well-traveled individual.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
I bet you have some really, really cool stories.
Oh, I do. You get enough blackberry wine in me, I'm a gusher. Anywho, I think it's Mr. White's turn. Mr. White, you find yourself alone in the room with the butler. Mr. White, I've tried to tell them. You are not responsible.
I appreciate that. I must be on my way.
What? You're not? You won't vouch for me?
Rolled an 11.
All right. Where would you like to go?
And I get to the library.
Library, yes. You're in the library. Who would you like to accuse with what?
I will shouldn't now.
You're making your accusation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Again, this is with trusting everything everyone said. The accusation is Mr. Green with the elven rope in the library.
Mr. Green in the library with the elven rope. So I will text you, Mr. White.
What's the difference in assuming an accusation?
Accusation is your final answer. That's when you think you have it.
So he's done. He can't go anymore.
He's done. He'll know if he got it right.
I'm taking a nap.
Yes. And I'm only texting you. Okay. So, hit my micro. Mr. White is going to retire to the ballroom. You can go and ask Mr. White things in the ballroom if it ever comes to it. But Mr. White is done.
So does anyone in this room have anything to prove that Miss Blue or Mr. Red did not do it?
Yes. Mr. Red was hanging out with Miss Yellow with a phallic object in the map.
Yeah, but are you lying?
I mean, that's up to you to decide if I'm lying or not. I'm just telling you what I saw.
So
I don't know about Mrs. Blue, which is you. I haven't really had a whole lot of conversation with you. Don't really know what you've seen.
what about the ornate token or
Tankard?
tankard? Anybody have any information on that?
I don't. No.
Am I in this room right now?
You are?
I saw you with the ornate tankard.
Well then,
That's embarrassing.
You idiot.
If you had to drink, Mrs. Blue.
so what about the powder room, map room, or library?
I saw you with the ornate tankard in the powder room.
It gets
Idiot.
worse.
And I already told you about the map room and Mr. Red and Mrs. Yellow. For the 17th time. They were holding a phallic object.
It is a coincidence.
yourself.
It is a coincidence, though, Tug, that or Mrs. Blue, that you just hadn't talked to Miss Yellow yet about those things. The things that you were missing are the three things that involve you.
Well, I tried, and she wasn't very forthcoming. Well,
No,
then,
we weren't main characters, so we were shown to a different side.
well, off of my evidence, I'm going to make my final assumption
All right, make your final accusation.
that it was Mr. Green with the elven rope in the library.
All right, I will text you. Ms. Blue, you will join Mr. White in the ballroom for the remainder of the time. It is the butler's turn and Mr. Black's turn. Mr. Pink, it is your turn.
Miss Yellow.
Yes.
Have you seen anything going on in this very library?
Not in this library, but I definitely saw something in a sex library.
Is this blackberry wine over here? Oh, yeah.
I would love some.
I'll pour you one.
How about-
Do you mind drinking out of the
let's all
bottle?
cheers.
Or do you prefer a glass?
Bring bottle
all-
to mama.
Pour us all three a glass. Let's take a cheers. You know, new friends, not creepy house at all.
Oh, it's a creepy house, all right. Have you There's a murder that happened in it. Come on, dude. No. Mr. Pink, I imagine you're jesting, but here, you take this goblet of wine. I'll take the other. Ms. Yellow, Mama Bear, you get the bottle. So what are we toasting to?
Let's toast to eternal darkness, good times, and dusty drawers.
Dusty drawers. I'm not one to judge a toast. Cheers to that. He slams
I'll drink,
the cup.
but I don't know if I want dusty drawers.
Mr.
All right,
Black
so back-
slams
so
the
let's
slams the
see
wine,
what's
says,
going on.
"Damn, that's good."
Well, Mr. Black, have you been to the kitchen tonight?
I have indeed. Saw the butler there.
What was the butler doing?
Being his typical panicky self, I was looking for a little snack at the time.
I mean, we had a dinner planned out.
I didn't
kind of
know
snack?
that. I was taking a dump. You ever take a post-dump munch?
You were taking your dump after your snack?
No. You take the dump first so you leave room for more food.
Man, that's ingenious.
Right?
I never even thought about that.
You stick with me, you'll do all right. My well-traveled world, I've come across quite a few pretty good ideas.
Mrs. Yellow, what do you think? Have you seen anything going on in the kitchen?
I haven't got a chance to go to the kitchen yet, but I have heard the exact same story from Mr. Black while he was barred.
Ooh, you're a kinky one. I like it.
I don't know what that
And
was
by
about.
that, I mean he was stuck in a bird cage.
She locked me up. We were in the sex dungeon. It's a whole thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna let you guys discuss that. I'm gonna go check out the kitchen.
Okie dokie.
I'm not gonna make it there tonight.
All right, Mr. Red.
Ooh, I rolled a 10
Where you headed?
towards the library. Or wait, where were the other people hanging out at?
They were in the library. You were headed somewhere down south.
So no, where are those two down there, Miss Blue and
They're in the ballroom.
I want to head towards the ballroom.
All right.
Hmm. And Mr. White, of your accusation, have you learned anything?
So, Mr. White, Ms. Blue, you're free to talk about anything that you know. I
Mr. White, Mrs. Blue,
guess they're not talking.
you-
I don't know.
did you learn anything from your accusations that would help the game move along quicker as we approach 10 o'clock in the evening?
It appears you're both on mute.
And the witches.
They're guilty. Josh? Jared? Are you there?
Mr. White, Mrs. Blue,
Yeah, what about it?
did you learn anything from your accusation?
Nope.
Did you get your accusation correct?
I haven't been told yet. We're waiting in the lobby to find out.
What?
God damn it.
And you were able to... How were you able to cross off the butler and Mr. Black?
Guys?
Either of you two. How were you able
I
to
had-
cross off the butler and Mrs. Black or Mr. Black?
Miss Blue told me about Mr. Black. I had funny feelings about the butler the entire time.
Did you learn anything, or were you told to wait in the lobby and you were not told your fate as well?
I believe I've given you the information you need.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit. You said you suspect the butler.
You've woken me from my slumber.
You suspect it was the butler? Do you still suspect the library or any other room?
Do you know the saying, the butler did it?
Yes. And where do you think that the butler did it at?
I can tell you for certain the rope in the library.
I would like to make my accusation.
Okay. We'll say for the sake of the game, you don't need to be in the room to make the accusation. So if you'd like to do
Okay.
that, you can do so.
Then I would like to accuse the butler with the elven rope in the library.
Okay. I will text you.
Or Mrs. Yellow.
They call me Mellow Yellow.
All right. That will conclude Mr. Red and bring us to Miss Yellow.
Am I allowed to accuse a dead person?
You can accuse anybody you want.
Alright. I would like to accuse someone.
Okay.
I would like to accuse in this very room with the rope Mr. Dion
Okay.
for
Nice.
killing himself.
Very, very nice.
I will text you.
Or we just text back, no loser. Go wait outside.
All right. Ms. Yellow, you may join the rest in the ballroom. That just leaves us with Mr. Black, the butler, and I believe Mr. Pink. Where did Mr. Pink go?
South of the.
Ah, right here. Mr. Pink, it is your turn.
Okay. Shevin, I want to try and make it down to where everyone else is gathered.
In
The ballroom.
all right, we'll say that you are able to make it there, no problem.
Hey, new friends. Can you guys shed some light on some stuff? I heard some pretty conflicting things from Mr. Black and the butler. I know I don't know you guys at all, but they seemed a little off the track a little bit. Couldn't tell if they were lying. What can you guys tell me? I don't know a whole
I
lot
can
about
tell you it was not the butler.
Not the
But I do believe it was the elven rope, and I do believe it was the library.
Yeah. See, I think it was the elven rope too. But as in location and person who did it, I'm just not sure.
Well, you might have better luck with other people here. I tried to get as much information out of as I could out of them.
So obviously
none of
it's the
that-
sex dungeon.
None of us has really ruled out the idea that Dion could have killed himself. Has anyone got any information about that? Maybe just the the pressure of being so wealthy, having so much, people asking him things all the time. Maybe he just couldn't take it anymore.
Have you made your accusation, sir?
No, just asking questions. Do you guys know anything about that?
I've told you everything that I know. I do not think it is the butler.
All right, Mr. Pink. I would say it's time to make your accusation then. You're the last person that's got to make one. We'll bring Mr. Black in and the butler.
I'm going to say, I'm going to accuse, I suppose, the same thing that Mrs. Yellow did.
Okay.
Leon hung himself in the library.
I will text you your answer, and we'll reveal who got it right next time on Dragon Ball Z.
What?
But that's it for tonight.
1992 Denver
GG, guys.
Suspense. We'll have to wait until next time to find out the truth. But good job. But thanks for sticking through that. I know that probably wasn't the smoothest thing, but you guys did really well. It actually worked extremely well. So
Now I really want to play like the actual board game Clue.
Copy you.
Most people won't get the gift because most people haven't watched the movie.
It's a good movie.
But yeah, good job, guys.
Yeah.
Was that all right? Was that too much? Was that
Oh no! If we shoot ourselves in the foot, it's usually our own fault.
No, you guys did a great job deducing information. And yeah, I'll let you sort of marinate in this for a while, and we'll discuss everything when we get back. And there's
Everyone go back and watch the first 5 minutes to hear the actual name that Jared said.
Yes, please don't forget.
I'll be honest. I probably half the time Jared was talking, it was a robot. I don't know if it was just for me or for other people, but Jared would start talking, I would be blah blah. I was like, I can't understand anything he's saying.
It's
He was
always
doing an accent.
it wasn't. Sometimes it was for me. It's always like one person every night. One of us can't escape it. Like last time, it was me, to the point that it just crashed the entire thing. So.
Well, I'm at my brother's, so it's not as good Wi-Fi here. I've always had to do get off Wi-Fi to run Discord to stream and everything. So almost every time I do it, someone's a little bit robotic. So when Jared was talking, I was like, I'm catching every other word. This is rough.
It's a lot to stream it, and also, yeah, because I mean, I only stream it at 720, so it's not even HD, but yeah. But no, seriously, kudos to you guys tonight. That was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was at least enjoyable for you. Thanks for putting on the fake personas. We'll get back to who everybody is, and there's some new people here.
Mr. Green has left us forever.
Mr. Green has left, yes.
I killed him and ate him.
So, but no, that was good.
Well, everybody say goodbye to stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye.